Hey everybody, and welcome to How I Built Bits, a clip show that surfaces some of the best advice from nearly 300 interviews of how I built it in 15 minutes or less. The clock's ticking, so let's dive into this clip from Troy Dean on taking your students from zero to win. But first, a word from our sponsor. This episode is brought to you by Sensei. The original solution for creating and selling online courses with WordPress, Sensei is back and better than ever. As a course creator, Sensei gives you complete ownership of your content and the freedom to customize as much as you need. Sensei has vastly improved the course creation experience, adding a customizable distraction-free mode, video and lesson progression, powerful reporting, and a full set of interactive content blocks. Those blocks, like the questions block, can be added to any page or post, not just the lessons. Sensei's goal is to make it effortless for course creators to develop personalized instruction for learners. While Sensei is totally free to start, you can save 20% on Sensei Pro, which allows you to charge for courses, drip out content, create quizzes, and much more. Just go to howibuilt.it/sensei to have the discount automatically applied. That's howibuilt.it/sensei to get 20% off Sensei Pro. I remember at WordCamp US that you said that you take a zero to win approach.
Yep.
And I'd love for you to explain that to our listeners.
Sure. So let me just touch on the tech first, because it's actually quite simple. We started off the membership website. We started off using OptimizePress because that was kind of the easiest thing or the quickest thing to kind of get up and about. After about 6 months, we refactored that and we were using Wishlist Member for about a year and a half. And then when we and it's good. I mean, the code's obfuscated, which is a pain in the ass, but the Wishlist Member does what it does, and it does it pretty well. It's not perfect, but nothing is. So then when we shut it down and we turned it into a course, we were kind of about to custom build something. And just before we pulled the trigger on that, we found this solution called Social Learner for LearnDash. And it's by some guys out of Chicago called BuddyBoss. They basically make premium themes for BuddyPress. And Social Learner for LearnDash is this great solution, which is a series of themes and plugins that integrates BuddyPress with LearnDash. And so essentially your online course becomes a classroom, because there's all this social sharing stuff that goes on when you unlock badges and when you unlock certificates, and there's like a Facebook style wall in the dashboard. So we found that and we were like, this is amazing. This is exactly the platform we want to use. So that's our choice. We've customized it quite a bit. We've built some onboarding wizards. We've built some leaderboards. We built a members map and a whole bunch of other things that we've customized. But that's the core of our course websites now at WP Elevation and Rockstar Empires. Everything we do now is built on the Social Learner for LearnDash solution. Definitely worth checking out. My advice to someone who's starting out and doesn't know tech is actually not a WordPress solution. If they want to get a course up and running and you don't want to, have any problems with the tech, my advice is to go use teachable.com, because those guys are doing an amazing job over there. But if you know WordPress and you want full extensibility and you want to be able to customize it, then Social Learner for LearnDash is all open source GPL built on WordPress, and it's awesome. So that's the tech side of it. The strategic side of it is the way that we build courses is, and this is really in a nutshell. If I've got information in my head that I know can help you, Joe, I say to myself, all right, the biggest challenge people have got is, how do I get that information out of my head into a format that I can teach? And the way I approach it is this. I treat every one of our students as starting from scratch. So I want to build a course that, if we're going to build a podcasting course, for example, I want to build a course in a way that if you've never even plugged a USB microphone into a computer, I want to be able to help you go from zero to win. And win, in this case, would be you've launched a podcast and you've got people listening to it on iTunes. That's a win, right? So what do I need to do to get you from zero to win? Now, what happens is some people come in and they're a little more advanced. And so I just say, look, if you already know this stuff, that's cool. You can just skip through the lesson, answer the quiz, and you're up and about. But I want to make sure that you've got the fundamentals. So from zero to win, I say, okay, what are the 6 big milestones that you need to achieve to go from zero to having a successful podcast or launching a podcast? And the reason I say 6 is because we break our courses up into 6 weeks. So there's 6-week drip-fed courses. Because 6 weeks feels valuable without being overwhelming. right? And also from a marketing point of view, we offer 30-day refunds on all of our courses. And so if you want a refund, I'm not going to give you the full 6 weeks. If you want a refund, then you bounce out at 4 weeks and you lose the last 2 modules. So, and 4 weeks is plenty of time to take us for a spin and, know whether or not it's valuable. By the way, our refund rates are less than 1%. So we don't really have much of a problem with refunds. Yeah. So 0 to win is like, these are the 6 big milestones you need to achieve in order to go from 0 to win. Now, within each of those milestones, there are generally, I like to think of it as there are going to be 6 action steps you need to take to reach that milestone. So let's say, for example, in podcasting, let's say that, and I wouldn't do this, but let's say that module 1 is the tech. Let's say that module 1 is getting your studio set up, right? Again, I wouldn't do that, but let's say that would be module 1. For me, that would be like module 5. But in this case, let's pretend it's module 1. So it would be like, well, you need to get a microphone set up. You need to get some headphones. You need to get some software. You need to practice. You need to learn how to kind of edit, and you need to maybe learn how to normalize your levels and then upload to, Google Drive, for example, right? So they're the 6 steps you got to take in order to get your studio set up. So the studio setup is the milestone, and then the 6 action steps are the lessons. Right. So the studio is the module, and then the action steps are the lessons within each module. So I reckon we can take just about anyone who's got an idea in their head for a course, and very quickly they can map out a course which is 6 weeks long and has 6 lessons within each week. So 6 modules, 6 lessons within each week. And a 36 lesson course, as I said, it feels valuable enough to be worth charging some money for without it being overwhelming that it's just going to be too hard.
Gotcha. That's fantastic. And you mentioned that you have quizzes. How important are quizzes to the success of the course?
Quizzes are crucial, man. And so here's the other metric that we judge everything on our student completion rates. And this is where I think we differ. And I don't mean to sound, too arrogant, but I think this is where we differ from a lot of people selling courses. See, a lot of people that sell courses on the internet think, great, you've spent $500 on my course. Now I can go to the beach and sip daiquiris by the pool. Well, I know that when you enroll in my course, that's when our work starts. Right? Because I have a responsibility to make you finish the course. Otherwise, I feel like I'm ripping you off. And maybe that's just because that's maybe just because I feel like I've enrolled in so many courses over the years that I haven't completed, that I don't want our students to have that experience. So we have at the moment, the cohort of students who enrolled in WP Elevation in October last year. Right now, as of today, 70% of those students have completed the course and printed their certificate. Now, those completion rates are unheard of in the online course space. Most courses struggle to get 10 to 15% completion rates. So quizzes are a huge part of this, right? Quizzes, badges, certificates are a huge part of dangling the carrot, and we take a more carrot, less stick approach, dangling the carrot to get people to complete the course. And quizzes are just a really simple way of saying, hey, have you paid attention? Can you basically repeat this back to me? Yeah. And so most of our quizzes are multiple choice. There's one answer which is obviously the correct one, and the other ones are pretty silly. So they're fun. We try and make them fun and entertaining, but it actually forces the student to pay attention and say, yep, I've been paying attention and I can repeat this back to you. And so they learn it. They learn it more. It sinks in.
Nice. So when I was teaching in a classroom in front of students, I would always kind of downplay my quizzes and tests. Because, like you said, one was the right answer, and then there were a few silly ones. And one day, my students were like, that was way harder than you made it seem. So I thought, maybe it's not as silly as I thought. It's funny that you mentioned that, but that's awesome. So,
and I think the other thing with quizzes, the other thing that's really important with online courses is they need to be entertaining, right? When you're in a classroom, you've taught in classrooms. When you're in a classroom, you can see when students are getting bored or disengaged, or they're, falling asleep, or they're on their phone, or they're, looking sideways at their mates. When you're at home on the internet, there's distractions everywhere, right? The kettle's boiling. There's a game show on the television. There's a picture of a cat on Facebook. There's a picture of a stoned cat snowboarding on YouTube. There's like so many distractions, right? So how do you keep them engaged in your course? I believe you have a responsibility to your students to not make your course boring, because if it's boring, they're just going to disengage. So part of our philosophy is the courses need to be entertaining, they need to be engaging, and the student needs to learn as well.
All right, that's it for this bit. If you liked it, be sure to subscribe to How I Built It and join the mailing list to get more bite-sized advice for creators and small business owners. You can do both of those things at howibuilt.it/subscribe. I'm Joe Casabona, and until next time, get out there and build something.